Sheila, welcome to our show.
Thank you, welcome. Right.
It's lovely to have you here. What kind of feelings do you get when you hear this old music, which is like 15 years ago, 13, whatever?
Do you know it's 20?
20 years ago?
Yeah.
Oh my fucking hell.
I feel so old. Oh my god.
No, but I didn't want to talk about the age feeling, but I wanted to talk about how do you feel like not playing in the band right now, or what was that thing, because you were pretty young when you started playing with them.
Yeah, I was 20 when I joined, so because I actually replaced Annie for a couple of years while there was some horrible band weirdness going on, so I kind of joined for 2 years and did a lot of studio stuff. But these days, I don't know, I'd like to play for somebody, but I think nothing's really honked my horn recently, so, you know.
You're not regretting?
No, not really. Nah. I think everything that could have happened with that band.
Yeah, that's great. So you are who you are because you were who you were by that time.
That made me what I am today.
What song are we gonna listen to first from your choice of music?
I really want to play The Creatures. It's a track called UntiedUndone, and I just really like it because there's hardly any guitars in it, and I just love how it's. I just love the dynamics in it. I love that it's so sleazy and sexy, and I don't know, I love it.
Sleazy and sexy.
Oh yeah.
Here's The Creatures. We continue with Sheila and her incredible taste of music.
My next choice is going to be a track called Shady by Perera Elsewhere, who is actually also known as Sasha Perera, who is the singer in Jacuzzi, who I'm a massive fan of, and this is her solo stuff.
A Berlin-based band?
Berlin-based, but she's actually from Wimbledon.
Ah, okay. So she lives as like many people, she lives in Berlin now.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know her?
We had a laugh in the dressing room once, and I was hitting her on the arse with some Turkish bread, and it was very amusing.
Okay.
I was with Lauren Flax and some other people. It's a long story.
So this is a hymn for the Turkish bread and the band Jacuzzi and their singer Perera Elsewhere. We listened to the song Shady. Did you ever meet Mocky in Berlin?
No, I didn't actually. But strangely, the next track I'm going to play is somebody who is also been working with Puppet Masters and Gonzalez and all that lot. And it's Patrick Catani, who's also known as Candy Hank. Yeah.
Before we go to that track, I'd like to add something, because right now I think it fits really well, because we're talking about that Canadian bunch of people, like Peaches and Mocky and whatever.
Yeah.
And Peaches, for those who want to know, is going to play her Jesus Christ Superstar musical in Munich, starting on October 10 at the Kammerspiele. Mm-hmm. So, back to the track.
Oh, yeah. The track is called Swimming Rabbit, and it's featuring vocals by Yuko Matsuyama. And I only discovered Candy Hank not very long ago, and I kept hearing these tracks in this bar called Eschlerach in Berlin. And
Were you actually DJ?
I DJ there all the time, but somebody else kept playing these different tracks, and I kept on saying, "Who is this?" And it was Candy Hank almost all the time.
So if you want to listen to Candy Hank in Berlin, or if you want to listen to one of Sheila's gorgeous and hilarious DJ sets, you have to go to Eschlerach in Berlin, right?
Yeah.
So, but now, as we are in Munich, a Munich-based radio station, we play the song for you on the radio, which is called
Swimming Rabbit
by Candy Hank. Here we go. Sheila brought a lot of nice and lovely music with her, so I'm looking forward to what song you're gonna play next for us, Sheila.
The next track is called Entropy Begins at the Office by the Boston Typewriter Orchestra, and it speaks for itself, really.
Okay, no further comment, just start
just
the record.
Listen to it.
Okay, we listen to Entropy Begins at the Office from Boston Schreibmaschinenorchester. What's going to be your next track? Or first of all, how do you like Boys Noise? Because
I love Boys Noise.
It's cool, right?
I absolutely love Boys Noise. But it's really hard to get that into a set, though, because often you have to really work people into a frenzy to be able to drop it in. Otherwise, it sort of hits them a bit too hard. So you have to really get them in the mood for it. And then when you've got them, it goes really mental. It was really good at the Berlin Festival, doing all that stuff. Yeah, I love Boys Noise. There was a thing at Melt when all the audience did that sort of spontaneous thing. He plays this track where everyone sort of crouches down, everybody in the audience goes down, down and down, and then he drops this big noise in, and everybody just starts running around and going, yeah, it's brilliant. It's like a spontaneous thing, and I saw him at Ritterbutzka, and I just thought, why is everybody sitting down? And everyone was doing this same thing. They weren't sitting down, they were just doing this thing for the track. It's really cool.
So this is the first moment I regret that we only have a radio show and not a television show, because
I know I was being a bit visual then.
You should have seen Sheila's dance moves and like really good explanation of how the audience is behaving.
I did it by coming away from the microphone, so I thought you might realise what I was saying.
Yeah, okay, it's going up and down.
Yeah, like that.
Okay. So why do you think, Sheila, that what is so special about Basement Jaxx? Why are they so successful in UK? And now, as you live in Germany, do you notice any difference, like in the dance music sector? Because some of the bands are like the next one we're gonna play actually are really successful over here as well, like big and huge. But others like Basement Jaxx, they just like don't even come to perform to Germany.
I don't know really. I think maybe maybe it's just too happy. I don't know.
Because you mentioned it's very British music they do. Why would you think that's so? What's so British about Basement Jaxx?
I don't know. It's just some sort of really London-y kind of dancey. I don't know what it is. It's just something it's got London written all over it.
Okay, so
it's got this humour and it's so up without being silly. You know. It's something that's really unashamedly happy about it. Okay,
so for all people who like London-based music and dance feeling, go to get the new...
Fatboy Slim is the same as well. It's just like there's a lot of humour in it.
Yeah.
And I think, it's quite easy to kind of take your music a little bit too seriously. But, being happy is just as valid as being miserable, isn't it?
I would even say it's even better.
Isn't it?
But you can be miserable and make amazing music about it, as we all know. But people like Scott Matthew, for example.
But he's a funny person.
Yeah, that's the other thing. So it's very clear. It comes together closely. I worked with them for one show, the band you are gonna play next. But I don't know if they're funny people or not. Have you ever met them?
I have, but it wasn't very nice.
Did you slap them with the Turkish bread on the ass?
No, they were horrible to me, but I kind of asked for it. It wasn't very nice. I was back in my days when I didn't realise that you should not be nasty to people. I was a bit drunk and I said something I shouldn't have said, and then they had a go at me. It was someone that was on their label, and I said something because... Oh, it doesn't matter.
It's what we call in German Jugendsünde. Here we go with the German lessons.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't do that anymore, though.
Okay. We talk about the Chemical Brothers. Did we mention that already?
Yeah.
I think we did.
Yeah.
Alles Nummer 1 Alben der Chemical Brothers. And next Friday, they're going to have a new release of an album called Burn in the Echoes. And you chose a song from that album.
Yep, I chose Just Bang. I've only just heard it though, so I just remember that I really liked it. So I'd totally play this.
Sheila, how do you think, or what do you think about German rap music? Because I don't know. Sometimes I think if you don't get the lyrics, there's nothing about it.
I get most of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get most of it.
And but like this track, like you said something when we were listening, like it's pretty cleverly produced, I would say.
I really like the marimba and stuff. I like that it's not really trying to be so tough or anything. It's quite interesting the way it's put together, I think. I really like Deichkind as well. I think they're brilliant. But I'm only getting half of what they're saying, but I get the funny stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So they mix.
Do you think they're at a bit of a
music.
disadvantage that they're singing in German though? I mean, it's like, you'd think it would, maybe people would be less likely to get into it. I don't know. I really like it, even though when I first heard them, I didn't have a clue what they were going on about. But like Remy Demi and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just a big, if you want to make a dance floor erupt, you just put that on.
But that point starts when rap bands take care about their music as well, and not only about the lyrics. I mean, and then it gets interesting. That's the phenomena we can see with Deichkind and other bands, and like for example, Kids. So. Talking about Kids, when we were kids, there was a band that was quite cool. the Ramones. And do you have any reference to them? Like, did you like them when you were a kid? I mean, I did when I was young, but...
God. The thing is, I was very small, so at that kind of scene, I think I was more into sort of Blondie and things like that, really.
Oh,
and
not bad either.
That was through my big sister, because, my older siblings are, like, much, much older than me, so I kind of got all that late 70s stuff, and that was really cool. But I never really got the Ramones until I became old enough to appreciate it, and now I've kind of grown out of them again. You grow in and out of these things, and then it becomes nostalgic, and then it becomes a laugh. And but the next track I'm going to play is it's impossible to not be entertained by it. I absolutely love it. There's something so that never stops being entertaining about polite covers of punk things.
Like Anarchy in the UK by Scott Matthew, for example.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so this is by Tracy Thornton, and it's Sheena as a punk rocker, and it's a panpipe tribute. Oh no, steel drum tribute.
Okay, we're going to listen to that. In the studio still my special guest for today, Sheila Chipperfield from the band Elastica. And we were just talking about Ratatat. I think we both have the same feeling. There's some really nice and fun stuff about them, and for like funny approach to music, but in between it's like, please don't do that.
It's that harmonised guitar thing. I can't listen to it. I don't know. It's a bit like when bands in the 90s started getting really used to having, when Moogs came out again and everyone got a Moog and then just used it on everything. Like, I've got a Moog, everyone! It's kind of like that. I don't want to be horrible, but it's like, please stop doing that sound. I hate it.
But there are some like really I could not listen to the whole Ratatat album. I tried, but it doesn't work. But some tracks are quite funny. I already played Cream and Chrome, which is a pretty one. And so for people who like that kind of music, go and buy the new album of Ratatat. End of the commercial part. So now we go back to other funny stuff, or whatever funny, not funny. You tell me.
No, it's there's some friends of mine in London who are in a Monks tribute band. And the Monks were a band of GIs based in Germany in the 60s, and they created a band. And
they were kind of like one of the first boy bands ever somehow.
Yeah,
I think, as far as I remember.
Yeah, and they were always dressed as monks, and they all had nooses on, and their heads all shaved like monks, and they were absolutely brilliant. And they only made one album, and so there's this band of people from lots of other bands, and they decided, and it's an all girl band, and they're called the Nuns. So obviously they're all dressed as nuns, and they do the whole Monks album. And they are ridiculously entertaining. It's just one of the best live acts I've ever seen. They're so entertaining, it's ridiculous. So anyway, I want to play Nun Time.
Have you or your bandmates, have you been inspired by those, like, directly by those bands from the USA from the early 90s, like Riot Girl or whatever? Or is it just, you think it's a coincidence that when Elastica was founded and they got kind of big?
Yeah. For me... the thing with Elastica's sound is it's often lumped in with Riot Girl, and I don't understand why, because the Riot Girl scene is more political and noise orientated, and we just weren't. I mean, the whole thing of our sound was that it's quite restrained and dignified and very deliberate, and it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the Riot Girl scene. It's just very, very it's a bit more aggressive, and we really tried not to be aggressive, because I find that with a lot of things it's better to actually hold things back, and it just makes the music a little bit more powerful. So when you do decide to hit them with something, it really makes an impact, So, but the Riot Girl scene, I get it, but it wasn't really on my radar then until a bit later on, when I sort of got to know Latigra and all that lot, and then. You get all your references, and then you go backwards and then discover all this other stuff,
But would you say that playing in a band is different if it's girls only? Like, does it feel good? Could you animate the girls out there to play instruments and start forming bands?
Everyone should be doing it. It doesn't matter if it's a girl or a boy or anybody. I mean, I don't think it's anything to do with that. I think it's just to do with people getting over their... just getting a little bit more confidence. I don't think it has anything to do with whether you're a girl or not, really. I think if you're a shy person, go and make some music and express yourself like that. I think you can say all those things in songs that you can't say out loud. you know.